Good morning, lovely people. Back with some news. Wasn't going to do one, but then I saw a couple, watched the news last night and read a couple things this morning that I thought would be kind of interesting to go over. So, and I noticed when I was editing my last video that I do a lot of looking up here when I'm talking, and I'm going to try to do that. It's just kind of the way my brain works. Is I just kind of look off when I'm thinking, gathering the thoughts, trying to get that thought train under control. But it just doesn't look good when I'm editing, so hopefully you don't get offended. But okay, so let's do some news. And oh, also I did a thing, and I'm gonna put that in the screen right underneath me. Yeah, that is that whole like that whole subscribe. I made that animation, so go ahead and give me a subscribe. I would appreciate it. And don't forget to oh yeah, smash that like button. That's what I'm supposed to say. Smash that like button. Yeah. Okay, so enough of my goofiness. Let's get to some news. Bum, 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 bum. In COVID, Burlington wastewater testing finds UK variants in that. We don't want to watch them, we want to watch me. Actually, I want to read to you guys. So, Thursday afternoon, the city of Burlington announced the more contagious UK variant of COVID-19 has likely been detected in the city's wastewater. The wastewater testing for the new UK variant has been going on, and until late Wednesday night showed no indication the variant was present. This won't be officially confirmed until genomic sequencing is done by the Vermont Department of Health, but the wastewater findings suggest it's very likely that Vermont is joining the 34 other states where the UK or B117 variant has been found in. Likely detection of the variant was found in the city's main wastewater treatment plant, which serves Burlington's downtown, the Old North End, South End, and parts of the Hills section. And I did do a driving tour video. I will link that up above if you want to check out a drive through Burlington. So Burlington Mayor Muriel Weinberg says people need to continue putting emphasis on Vermonters continuing to be extremely careful with what they are doing to protect themselves, such as avoiding gatherings with other households. According to the city, UK variant spreads 30 to 40% more quickly than the regular strain of COVID-19. Mayor also suggests at a news briefing Thursday that something extra people can be doing is to make sure they are wearing high quality face coverings that are well fitted to their faces. Wearing 2 masks can also help contain the spread of the coronavirus. It's a new stage of the pandemic here in Vermont, said Health Commissioner Dr. Mark Levine in a statement. It is not, however, surprising. We expect that variants could be circulating in Vermont, and now that looks to be the case. Health experts warn that the faster spreading variants can lead to more cases as well as increased hospitalizations and deaths. So the variant is here in Vermont along with, like it is with the other 34 states. Alright, and weather? Yeah, it is cold outside right now. South Burlington, 0 for a high right now. Well, 0 degrees. If we look at let's look at the weekend forecast. We're talking a high of 12, high of 15 tomorrow, and a high of 25 on Sunday. I'll take that. Better than this 0 degree weather, that's for sure. Brr! Took the trash cans out this morning and it was cold. I actually had to put sweatpants on. It's cold if I'm wearing sweatpants around the house. Okay, what else we got here? Oh yeah. Safety chief apologizes for describing exchange with female lawmaker as uppity. Oops. Commissioner of Public Safety Michael Sherling apologized for using the word uppity to describe a heated exchange with a female lawmaker Thursday after he was roundly criticized by legislators. Oh, and that was just a little Asian beetle just went flying. Sorry. Sherling used the word, which has both sexist and racist connotations, to characterize his back and forth with Representative Tanya Vyhovsky, a progressive Democrat from Essex Town, during a committee discussion about police use of force. His exact turn of phrase was the somewhat uppity exchange the representative and I just had. Women in the legislature quickly took to Twitter to express dismay that the commissioner of the Department of Public Safety would use the word. Trying to make sense of Vermont Department of Public Safety Commissioner calling at Tanya v. for Vermont, Uppity, in a committee hearing on use of force just now, tweeted the Progressive Caucus leader, Representative Celine Colburn, Progressive, out of Burlington. Wow. I wonder if they're going to force him to resign because of that. Sherling quickly apologized Thursday morning. Wow. Shortly after testimony this morning, I was made aware that a word I used has a disturbing history that I was previously unaware of, Sherling said in a statement to Vermont Digger. I appreciate it being brought to my attention so swiftly and am saddened by the history of language being weaponized against so many in this country. I apologize to anyone who was offended or hurt by this, he said. The exchange occurred during a joint hearing with the House Judiciary and Government Operations Committees. Wojciechowski took Sherling to task over how Vermont law enforcement officers are trained. Let's just go back to this. I was made aware that a word I used has a disturbing history that I was previously unaware of. How can you not be aware of the word uppity? It is... Everybody, oh, there we go, I'm looking again, sorry. Uppity, everybody knows what uppity is, or how it's been used in history, and how it has that racial and sexist connotation. I'm not going to give an example, but everybody knows that's not a good word to use. You just don't, there's just things you don't say, and to use this, well, I didn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't know that it was a bad word. I'm sorry, I didn't know that shit is a bad word. Yeah, it's just something you don't say. So, well, we'll see what the fallout of this is. Wow. So, continuing on, I was shocked and appalled, Wojciechowski told Vermont Digger Thursday afternoon. That word has no place in our committees. It has no place as we are discussing trying to build a public safety system that welcomes all Vermont voices. That language immediately shuts out so many of the voices that our police policies disproportionately impact. She said that she had been communicating with Sherling by email since the end of the committee hearing and was glad to hear him take ownership for the harm that he caused. Wow. That's a big no-no. I actually went to high school. Graduated high school with Michael. So, moving on to police. In Burlington, City Council declines to raise police staffing cap. I read about this last night. I thought it'd be interesting to let you guys know and kind of go over it a little bit. So the Burlington City Council approved a resolution that maintains a 74 officer cap on the Burlington Police Department and creates up to 13 positions for unarmed community service officers and community support personnel. The decision came after more than 2 hours of debate that went past midnight about whether the council should uphold a June vote to cut the Burlington police force by 30% through attrition. The reduction in force was an answer to demands that the city defund the police. Activists saw a reallocation of police budget money for racial justice initiatives. So, the acting Burlington Police Chief, John Murad, warned in December that proactive overnight coverage could cease due to dwindling law enforcement numbers. If the department's staff were to drop to 76 officers, he said, the force would only be able to respond to serious crimes between 3 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. The department has fallen from 91 officers to 79 through attrition, and he did ask the council to reconsider the 74 officer cap. So what he's saying basically is that when their numbers get down to 76, they cannot provide overnight police coverage in the largest city in the state of Vermont. Population roughly, I'm going to wing it, I'm going to say like 45,000. That there will be no overnight police coverage. Or proactive, which means I'm taking the proactive, meaning they won't actually be out. They will be probably at the station, and only a few able to respond between the hours of, between 3 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. So you're going to eliminate overnight police protection in the largest city in Vermont. That makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense, because criminal's gonna be a criminal regardless. So this just gives them free license to like, oh hey, there's no police coverage, we can do whatever we want. It's just, and yeah, that does make sense. I mean, I'm all about police reform, and I understand that, but defunding doesn't make sense. You actually want to increase the funding, increase the training, increase the de-escalation training, increase the so it's de-escalation training that you want to increase. You want to increase their training for use of non-lethal force. You want to actually add, I'm all about the community service officers and community support personnel, so increase the funding and put them on the force with the police. Have fully trained and staffed mental health professionals that work with the police, that are available 24 hours, 7 days a week. So if the police officers are responding to a call and it could be a mental health issue, they have that person right, available and ready and can get there to de-escalate the situation. I don't agree with this. I think it is asinine to put out there that we are going to eliminate proactive police coverage overnight. You're not going to have any protection. They're not going to be out there patrolling, and if it's someone's driving intoxicated, they're not going to be out there to possibly catch them before they get into a car accident and kill somebody. They're not going to be there to patrol the streets and see suspicious activity. They're not going to be there quickly if there's an assault or if there's a break-in happening and you call 911. Well, if you're at all the way at the very north end of Burlington, the police station is kind of in the center, but a little more towards the south, say the south center of the city, and you're all the way at the very northern end of the city, and someone's breaking in at 2:30 in the morning, and you call 911, instead of possibly having a patrol car that's going to be, within a few miles, you're going to have to wait for somebody to respond if they even have police coverage. That's just, wow. That just makes no sense. Sometimes I don't get it. I do not get it. Okay, well, there's my little rant on that. Let's go here. Lawmakers approved nearly $100 million for pandemic rental assistance. Vermont lawmakers on Thursday approved a plan to use nearly $100 million worth of federal funding to help low-income Vermonters who are struggling to pay their rent during the pandemic. The money comes out of a $200 million pot of funding for housing and utility assistance included in the $1.3 billion Vermont received from Congress's latest round of COVID-19 aid last December. After hearing from state officials, the legislature's Joint Fiscal Committee agreed to use $99 million of the funds for a new rental assistance program. That's good. I mean, they're at least using the money for they're not wasting it. They're not blowing it on other things, but it's going for people who've, been displaced from work and need help paying their rent. So that's good. That is good. Let's see. State previously offered rental assistance earlier in the COVID-19 pandemic. Last summer, the state stood up a $25 million rental relief program using federal coronavirus relief fund dollars. According to federal guidelines, to qualify for the new round of rental assistance, renters need to show that at least one member of their household qualifies for unemployment, faced a reduction in income, incurred significant costs, or experienced a financial hardship due to COVID-19. Need to show that their incomes total no more than 80% of the median income in a given area. The state estimates there are 50,000 households that could qualify for assistance. That's good. The funding will typically be sent directly to the landlords, which helps the landlords out. Especially, I do know a few landlords who are having issues where their tenants are still working, but because they know that there's a no eviction rule or executive order, or however the government did it, that you can't evict tenants, that they're stopped paying their rent. They're just not paying their rent. They're still working. Didn't lose their jobs, didn't do anything, because of course they just stopped paying their rent. And who knows what they're doing with that money, but it's not going to the rent because they know they can't be evicted, which I don't necessarily agree with. That should have been there should have been something worked around with that, but Washington D.C.'s going to do what Washington D.C. does, which typically screws most Americans. Yeah, so that's good. I think that's a good idea. Absolutely. And what else we got here? It was just the front page of Vermont Digger. We went through most of everything there, so alright, let's do this. Hey, look at me. I am big in your face. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. A little, just a little blurb on some news for Friday. I thought a couple things happened yesterday that came out that you guys might want to hear about, read about, see, that kind of thing. So I would appreciate a thumbs up if you got a little bit of value out of this. As always, drop me some comments down below. Let me know if there's anything you guys want to see here. Questions about certain areas. I am going to be on the road a little bit today. So I'm going to try and stop someplace and get a little bit of filming that isn't my torn apart office here. So I did clean it up a little bit, got some stuff out of the way so I don't have to have that big blue blanket hanging. But as always, hey, 116 subscribers. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you guys for watching, and have a safe weekend.